Welcome to Outflow. I'm Alan King, and I'm joined again today by my wife, Regina. And I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
You brought this subject up because you told me you wanted to do a podcast, which makes me happy because I used to come here and do this by myself all the time. And
you do a great job.
I've had some other people help me, but I come in here and do them by myself, and I feel like I'm boring when I'm just sitting here by myself.
You do a great job.
I listen to other podcasts, and they're just sitting there rambling, and I'm like, do I sound like that when I'm by myself? But I always like it when you're in here.
Thank you, buddy.
And I mean, you could come and do one by yourself too if you ever wanted to. But I like it when I like it when we get to do this. And we started last episode talking about a very important subject, one that has been so neglected lately. I remember growing up in the church, and everybody fasted.
Everybody did.
The preacher made a big deal of it.
Yeah.
He talked about it all the time, about prayer and fasting, and people did it. I can remember my mom and dad fasted. There were times I'd go sit down at the supper table, and one of them wouldn't be there. And I'd say, where's daddy, or where's mama? And it was just like, boy, just eat. Because as we talked about, fasting is very private in nature.
Yes.
So we didn't really deal with it a whole lot. I mean, you didn't say, I'm fasting, hear ye, I'm fasting this week. It's very private. And so we respected that. And we almost, like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, daddy's fasting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was all the time. It wasn't all just lumped into one part of the year.
Oh, yeah.
It was like all the time. It was just something we did.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, and there were special times.
Oh, yes.
When the pastor would call the church to fast. He would say, I'm calling you to fast.
Yeah.
But then there were other times it'd just be like, okay, I'm going through something right now that I need special input from the Lord. It's a special time of setting apart a time of fasting. And so, but again, we didn't make a big deal of it. You just did it.
Yeah. And that's very biblical.
Yeah.
Because Paul and the early church would do that.
Yeah.
When they were choosing leaders, they would have a time of prayer and fasting.
Yeah.
When there were other times that they needed guidance, they would pray and fast for that. So fasting was always just part of being a follower of Christ.
Yeah. And I really feel like that the Lord is bringing this back almost as a restoration truth to the church.
Yes.
Because there are situations that we're facing right now. Our nation, I think the church, maybe even individually.
Yes.
There are situations that I'm persuaded that if they're going to be broken, we're going to have to get down to business, and we're going to have to get serious and consecrate ourselves to God in prayer and fasting before we see things change. And it's so important. You mentioned last time, and I said we'd come back and talk about this. We talked about Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah 58.
Isaiah 58.
Yeah.
Do you have that there?
I do.
Okay, I'll let you read it because I feel like I'm doing all the talking. Yeah.
We'll just start and stop.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to do?
Are you going to start at verse 6, or where are you going?
I am actually going to start. I'm going to start at the beginning.
Okay.
Cry aloud. Do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their transgression, in the house of Jacob their sins. And this is why I wanted to read this. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as if they were a nation that did righteousness and did not forsake the judgment of their God. They ask me of me righteous judgments. They delight to draw near to God. This is the part I wanted to read. Why have we fasted and you see it not? Why have we humbled ourselves and you take no pleasure of it? Behold, in the day of your fast, you seek your own pleasure and oppress all your workers. Behold, you fast only to quarrel and to fight and to hit with a wicked fist. Fasting like yours this day will not make your voice to be heard on high. I think before we get to the place where we talk about what God wants, we have to look at
I like
what
it.
are we doing wrong?
I like it when God gets sarcastic.
Oh my, yeah.
And there
Yeah.
in Isaiah 58, God's a little sarcastic.
Oh my goodness,
Because it
yes.
sounds like in those verses
Yeah.
that he's building them up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing this and you're doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're after my righteousness and you want to do this and you want to do that.
And then they asked the question to him, but why have we fasted and not, have you ever done that? Why have we fasted and you not heard me? Or it seems like you haven't
I hear
heard me.
people say that all the time. I fasted and I prayed and God
And
still
you
didn't
see
do it.
not it. Yeah, what happened? Why am I not seeing what I'm fasting? Whatever it is. Why have we humbled ourselves? Let me go back to that. Why we fasted. Behold, and then God gets right down to it. He even tells them. They ask the question. We've humbled ourselves. How did they humble themselves? Fasting and prayer. What we talked about last week. How do we humble ourselves? Fasting and prayer. So they humble themselves and they're saying to God, we've even humbled ourselves and you take no knowledge. God, you don't even take no knowledge of it.
This big word, motive.
Motive.
Why are you doing what you're doing?
Yes.
Why, are you fasting and praying so you can get a bigger house or drive a nicer car, or are you fasting and praying because you want to have your ministry on TV?
Or you're mad at somebody.
Are you mad at somebody and you're trying to get God to get them?
To get them. I mean, that's literally what this said. Did you see that? It's literally what it said. It said, behold, God is answering them. Behold, in the day of your fast, you seek your own pleasure. Mm-hmm. I want a new car. I want a new house. I want something. And I'm not humbling myself. I'm doing my own thing, making myself feel good is basically what he's telling us. And then he says, and oppress all your workers. Lord, help us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't treat people right. You fast only to quarrel and to fight. I'm mad at you. You did me wrong. I want you to get them, God. Go get them, God. Yeah, you go get them, God. You go. So we fast so God will be like our, I don't know if I need to say that or not. We fast like God's our hitman or something. And it's like, we're fasting, therefore you must go and exact judgment on these people. And we fast only to quarrel and to fight and to hit with a wicked fist. Fasting like yours this day will not make your voice be heard on high. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Again, and we talked about this in the last episode, fasting is not designed to move or change God.
Yeah, or to get our own way.
It makes us that reveals a very selfish motive.
Wow. Yeah.
When we're fasting just to change God's mind, it changes us.
It changes us, especially when I read that about hit him with a wicked fist.
And if that's
How many times do we do that nowadays? We're going to go fast so we can get back at whoever it is that is on our list that we think is an evil person and not a good person, and we're fasting, so you'll go smite them, God. You'll go hit them. You'll go
He's going to avenge us.
He's going to avenge. And yeah. And God says, that's not what I'm looking for.
Motive.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, help us. How many times have we done that? Just being honest.
Yeah. Well,
if we're not careful.
It's very unchristlike. I hate to say it, but it's very unchristlike. And, but I love, was that verse 5? The last verse?
That was, no, verse 5 is where it begins, the one. Is such the fast that I choose, a day for a person to humble himself? Is it to bow down his head like a reed and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast and a day acceptable to the Lord? See, wouldn't that seem like to you that would be the acceptable fast?
Motive's a little different. That's where it turns.
It's beginning to turn.
That's the verse that it starts to turn.
But he is even saying there, are you really calling even this an acceptable day?
Yeah.
Of fasting? Because then in verse 6 it begins to say, is not this the fast that I
That's the key.
choose?
Is this not the fast that I have
So
chosen?
it wasn't even about sitting on the ashes. It wasn't about not eating. It wasn't about all these things we thought we were doing to get God's attention and to do what we were telling him to do. And he said, wait a minute. Is this not the one I chose?
And then he goes on to tell you why we should be fasting.
Yes.
He said, this is the fasting that I chose.
Do you want to read that?
To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens.
Oh, wow.
To let the oppressed go free, and that not that he may break every yoke, but that you break every yoke.
Wow.
Fasting gets us into the position to break every yoke.
To loose bonds of wickedness. So we're having struggles in our lives because of wickedness around us. We're having trouble in our town and our nation because of wickedness. We, in the fast he chooses, will be able to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free. Didn't he say that in the New Testament? When Jesus went and he tell the story about when he delivered the young man, and his disciples said, why can't we do this? And Jesus began to look at him and said, this type goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. What did Jesus do? He broke the strap. He undid the straps of the yoke, and he let the oppressed go free, and he broke every yoke.
The ones that couldn't be loosed and broke, and by disciples who were not praying and fasting.
Yeah.
And he says, if you want to do this, you have to pray and fast.
Pray and fast. Pray and fast. I'm like, okay, Lord. Yes, you're speaking loudly. You want to go ahead? Well,
sure.
What else? It says.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
He said, then shall your light.
No, verse 7.
Oh, verse 7.
Yeah,
go ahead.
because there's another part he tells us.
Okay.
Is it not to share your bread with the hungry?
Ooh.
And bring the homeless poor into your house? How we treat those who are hungry and how we treat homeless has to do with the fast that God desires.
Yeah. Well, you're able to do that when you humble yourself through fasting, because fasting humbles you and makes you say, except for the grace of God, that could be me.
Yeah.
That could be me.
And then he said, when you see the naked, to cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh. So it all has to do, our fasting all has to not do with us. has to do with everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, again, it's that whole misunderstanding about fasting because
Yes.
we feel like I got to fast so I can get what I need, what
Yeah.
I want. That's not what it's about. Not at all. And he says, if you will fast the fast that he has chosen
Yeah.
for the reasons that the motives that he's chosen, he said,
Yeah.
then, verse 8, then will your light break forth in the morning and your health will spring forth and your health will spring forth speedily. You want to walk in divine healing? Fast with the proper motives.
Yeah.
Fast in
Yeah.
the right way. And he says, I'm going to bring healing to you, and it's going to come speedily. Your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your reward.
Wow.
And that reward
Wow.
is that means your rear guard. It's going to be behind you. It's going to cover everything.
Everything
Your
about
righteousness will go before you. And
so when
the
we
glory
do
of God
those
will
things,
come behind you.
it comes behind us. When we do those things he previously mentioned, when our fasting not only is the sitting on sackcloth and ashes, but we include in what we do the fasting he has desired our motives would be that I would loose bonds of wickedness, that I would undo straps of the yoke, that I would let the oppressed go free, that I would share my bread with those who are hungry, that I would take care of homeless by sharing. This one was sharing your home with them. When I see the naked, that I would cover them. All of this is what causes my light to break forth and that he would be my rear guard. This is what causes it.
And I hear it says there that
Yes.
the people of Israel were crying, saying, we fasted, we prayed. Why hadn't you heard us?
Yeah.
Why hadn't you been doing this for us? Because your method wasn't right. Once you get your method right, see, here's the thing. It's not just prayer. It's prayer with fasting. It's not
Yeah.
just fasting. It's fasting with prayer. Those two go together. But your prayer is energized
Yes.
through fasting.
Yeah.
There's something that I can't explain it. I don't know why it works. I don't know how it works, except that it is humbling. It is bringing you under submission to God. And what happens is when that happens, the Lord says, do all of this. Take care of the homeless. Take care of the downtrodden. Fast for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Seek my glory. Seek his way. Submit humble to him. And in verse 9 it says, then
Yeah.
you shall call on the Lord, and the Lord will answer. Then you'll cry, and he will say, here I am.
Wow. What if the reason that we are not getting our answers is we're failing? We do we will not eat. We will not, we will sit on ourselves loudly, sit on the heaps, but we would not cross the street
Yeah.
to help someone in need.
Yeah.
Or perhaps,
Some of the greatest giving you
Wow.
can give is giving out of your need.
Yeah.
And we're sitting saying, Lord, I'm fasting so you'll help my financial situation. And the Lord puts somebody in your path that's got it worse than you. And if you're not willing to help them, he's going to look at you going,
I'm trying. This is what I'm desiring.
you're
I'm
wanting
desiring
me to do,
this.
Yeah.
Because
you're
that's
wanting
what
me
it
to
says.
do what you won't do. And he says there is an energy that comes to your prayer, and you don't fast to get God to do it, but when you fast,
Yeah.
it changes your prayer life
Yeah.
to where it opens up something in heaven where God starts answering your prayer and doing what you're asking
Yes.
for that doesn't come until he can. This might be a bad way to say it, but it's the only way I can think right now. Once I knock you off your pedestal and I get you to understanding that I'm
Yeah.
God and you're not, this is
Humble
what he's
yourself.
saying to us.
Humble
Humble
yourself.
yourself. Quit trying to tell me how to do. Quit trying to tell him how to be God.
Yeah.
Quit trying to tell him how he's supposed to do stuff.
Yeah.
And you realize there's only one God and you ain't him.
Wow. Yeah.
Now he says, now when you pray,
Yeah.
I'm going to answer.
I will hear you. I will, when you call, you shall call and the Lord will answer you. You shall cry. He will say, here I am. But then he goes on and he gives us more instructions.
Yep.
And the next one really gets to us. Oh my goodness. You sure you're ready for this? He has an if in there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like ifs a lot of time.
No. Exacto knife those out.
If you, the scripture that says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face, then the healing of the land comes. Same thing here. We have this, we're calling out to God. We don't know why he's not answering. We think we're fasting, we're praying, but we're ignoring all the people around us who are in need, who need deliverance, who needs help. We're ignoring them. And then God says, humble yourselves. But then he says, not only that, but I got another if. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and speaking wickedness. One translation puts that speaking vanity. And I was listening to one person, and they shared that this is like it's saying, take away legalism, where you're trying to make everyone be like you. Quit trying to be God, And then he said, you take away the yoke from your midst. The point, and this was the one that always gets me, because how many times do we do this? I could just, every time I see that, I see somebody just wagging their finger. Take away, I think even one of them says the wagging of the finger. Is there not a translation that says something about the wagging of the finger?
Probably.
But it's
not
like,
the right one.
It's not. We wag our finger at everybody else. Accusation, criticism, your fault. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't do that. You're the one that's doing it. You. We have to put that away if we want God to hear us. And then our speaking of vanities, and one person I was listening to said this means that we put away kind of our hypocrisies. We become real. We put away our insincerity. When we say we praying, we sincerely praying. So yeah, but that isn't that crazy that if you pour your but that is something he says you got to take those things away from you if you want me to hear. If you want me to hear.
Yeah. That's
the fast he wants.
I think there's one other thing in Isaiah 58 that really it kind of sticks out to me, because fasting is about not eating.
Yeah.
Okay. We can establish that.
Yeah.
I said last time, I've had people say, "Oh, I'm gonna fast my social media, or I'm gonna fast my TV, or I'm gonna fast this or whatever." God honors the fact that you're giving him more time. Now, if you're giving up social media, but you're replacing that with watching TV, that's not really fasting.
Yeah.
You got to get away and seek the Lord. But anyway, that's a sacrifice. Fasting is about food.
Fasting's about food.
And if you say, well, I can't fast for physical reasons, I think maybe the Lord will be a little more lenient with you if you're fasting social media or something else. But anyway, or you could fast something, and we'll talk more about this. We're going to talk about the different types of fasting, but some of the most effective fasts that I've been on have been when I would go on meat fast, where I wouldn't eat meat, because you know how much I love meat.
I know how much you love meat. Yeah.
And I'd go for a while without eating meat. And that was a fast. That was a partial fast, which we'll talk about later. But, there are people that say, I can't fast, but there are things you can give up. But anyway, when you do that, fasting is about food. Let's get back to this. Fasting is about food. When you don't eat food, you don't do it because of this, but you don't eat food, you lose weight.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me and all. Now, most of it's water weight that you're going to get back when you finish fasting.
Yeah.
So, it's not a weight loss program anyway because it doesn't last. But anyway, fasting is about food. When you fast food, you don't eat, you lose weight. But Isaiah said, in exchange for that,
I love this.
I'm going to make your bones fat.
Yeah. I love this.
While your body's getting skinny, your bones are going to get fat.
Yeah.
But he says that the Lord's going to guide you and satisfy your soul in drought and make your bones fat, and you're going to be like a watered garden and a spring of water. Those are things that happen when we humble ourselves in prayer and fasting.
In prayer and in fasting. And that just amazed me because it's all about our motives. All about our motives. Yeah. He goes on to say in verse 10, if you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall your light rise in darkness and your gloom be as the noonday. How many of us are fasting for the wrong reasons? Kind of fasting all for ourselves and not understanding. No, God is these fasts that we are doing for somebody else. Feed them, satisfy the people who are afflicted, satisfy the desire of the afflicted, and your light will rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. How many of us are walking around in gloom right now? Gloom, you always say it. Gloom, despair, agony on me, because even in our fasting times, it's all about me. Yeah. It's all about me. God, why aren't you answering my prayers? And God's saying, well, why aren't you helping people around you?
Here's a novel idea. Next time you're fasting and you're not eating, go take that food you were going to eat to the homeless.
Wow. Well, that's a good idea.
You're not going to eat it, so go give it to them.
That's a good. But I love that. I was just reading that. I was like, "Your gloom." How many of us are walking around in gloom and we're saying, "But I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm fasting. Why am I still gloomy?" But are you actively doing the fast He chose along with the giving up the food and the prayer and humbling yourself? It's all about the motive. Are we satisfying the afflicted? Are we taking care of the hungry? Take them some food.
Yeah.
Go take them some
food. That just came to us.
That was good. I like that. That was good. Go take the food you were going to eat to the homeless.
But again, and I keep wanting to emphasize this because I think it's so important. Fasting and prayer are powerful tools.
Yes.
But they are not designed to move or change God. They change us. They change you.
Yeah.
You can fast for 4 days or 4 hours and God will not be benefited, but you will.
Yes.
And we have to understand that. Fasting and prayer don't help God be who He is or who He needs to be.
Right.
It helps us to be who we need to be. I think fasting brings your flesh and your soul into subjection to your spirit man. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Fasting allows your flesh to get connected with your spirit man. And it breaks down that wall of flesh, of carnality, so that the spirit can be in control.
I think that's it. The spirit is in control. It overtakes the flesh. It's one of the ways that we push down flesh.
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna rule me.
And when your spirit man is in control, you are in a position to experience the power of God, the power of the anointing.
Yes.
Like you're not able to do in the flesh, because the flesh is weak. The flesh can't do that. David knew about that. David in Psalm 69 said, "I wept," and I love the way he says this. I chastened my soul with fasting. Chasten is like when my daddy gave me a whooping.
Yeah,
that was chastening. So it's not something pleasant. It's never fasting is never presented as something pleasant. But David said, "I chastened my soul with fasting." He said that was to my reproach.
Wow.
And again, To chasten means to give direction, to lead in the right path. And here David is bringing his spirit into the right path, his mind into the right path through fasting. And as Christians, we need our minds to be right.
Yes.
And there's nothing that does that like fasting.
Yeah.
Because we get in tune with God. We bring our minds and we bring our thought patterns in line with the Word of God. But not only that, it's not just what it does to the spirit, man, but the soul. You know, we're triune beings, spirit,
yes.
soul, and body. It brings your body under subjection, of course, because you're not eating, you're not satisfying that basic instinctual. Is instinctual a word? That basic instinctual desire.
Yeah.
And then it helps our spirit man because it brings us in line, but it also helps our soulish man. In Psalm 35 and 13, it said, "But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and prayer returned into my bosom." A lot of times, the problems we have more times than anything else, when we get into trouble, when we get frustrated, when we have problems with God, it's not our body that does it. It's not our spirit man that does it. It's our soul, which means our emotions and our will.
Our will.
There are so many times that our will, our desires, our emotions just get in the way of what God wants to do. My body will not do anything until it is impacted by the desires of my soul.
Wow.
The temptation that comes through my soul that causes my body to do something. So that's so important that we humble our soul through fasting, that we get our soul, our emotions. There's a whole lot of what was going on in Isaiah 58.
Yeah.
Those people, they hated people. They were spiteful.
Yeah.
They didn't love people. They didn't have compassion. That's the soul.
And they were using their motive for fasting. Fasting was good.
Yeah.
Fasting was what they needed to be doing. But their whole fast was wrong because of their motives.
Yeah.
And David, I love what the scripture you read about David. They were sick, but David fasted for them. Yeah. And so it was like David was bringing himself to that point Isaiah was talking about for satisfying the needs of the afflicted. And his fast, he fasted for them. Yeah. He humbled himself in fasting.
Yeah. And that it's
bringing our body in subjection because our soul, our will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not just a good idea. This is something that is so important if we're going to know how to have power in prayer. There was a time when the disciples, and you touched on it, when in Matthew 17, when they brought the boy to Jesus, or the man brought his son to Jesus.
Yeah.
And the boy was in a mess. He had to be delivered. And the man came to Jesus and said, "I took him to your disciples."
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. Yeah. I'm sure they prayed for him. They might have got the anointing oil out. They might have sent a prayer cloth with him. I don't know. But the man couldn't get any satisfaction, so we went to Jesus. And he said, "I took him to the disciples. They couldn't do anything." Well, Jesus set him free. The boy was delivered. Then Jesus went to his disciples. And he wasn't real kind. He didn't go and say, "Oh, you had trouble? I'm sorry. I wish I'd taught you better. I wish you'd have, we should have covered that a little more." He looked at him and he said, "Wicked and perverse generation."
Wow.
These are his disciples.
Yeah.
He said, "Wicked and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you?" How long am I going to put up with this?
Wow.
he said to him, because of, he said, well, he said it in front of the man.
Yeah.
He said it like, the man's looking like, well, Jesus, I understand they couldn't fix him, but it's okay. No, Jesus didn't play.
Yeah.
He said, bring him to me. So Jesus healed him. And then Jesus looked at the disciples and said, why could you not do this yourself? Why could you not cast the demon out of that boy? Why could you not do that? And then Jesus, before they could even answer or make excuses, Jesus said, I'm going to tell you why. Because of your unbelief.
Oh.
They said to him, they said, why could we not cast him out?
Yeah.
And he said, because of your unbelief. Because of your unbelief. Because I say to you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you can say to that mountain, be removed, and it'll be cast in the midst of the sea. But then he goes on to say, nothing is impossible for you, but this kind only goes out through prayer and fasting. What Jesus was saying to him, you already had power through prayer.
Yeah.
You already had the faith to believe. But your spirit man and your emotions and your will, maybe they got a little proud because they were walking with Jesus. Yeah. And you did not have your vessel in a position to be able to do this.
Yeah.
It wasn't about you didn't have faith. It wasn't about that your prayer didn't work. It's the fact that you were not in a position.
Wow.
Again, we go this thing of fasting is to change God. No, it's not. I can fast until he gives me that new car. It's not how it works.
No.
I'm going to fast until he changes this situation. Not how it works.
Yeah.
What Jesus was saying to the disciples was, prayer is an amazing thing. Faith is an amazing thing, but it is not accessible to you until you have brought yourself into the position
Humble yourself.
of humbling yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I mean, I grew up in Pentecost. I grew up around Pentecostals. Still am one. How many times did we see young preachers that imitated the hot shot of the day? You know, I've watched him do that. I'm going to do it just like him. Sons of Sceva did the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
I adjure you by Jesus, whom Paul preaches. How many times have we tried to emulate formulas and forms and methods and all that to get something done? And Jesus said, it wasn't your method. It wasn't that you didn't pray right. It wasn't that you didn't, you didn't say the right words and all that stuff. He said, the problem was you.
Yeah.
You were not in the position you needed to be in. And the way to fix that is prayer and fasting.
Wow.
Fasting.
Yeah. Humble yourself.
I'm sorry, that took a long time.
No, I loved it. That was good word.
I feel like that sometimes we blame God when God said, I'm who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what he was saying in Isaiah.
Yeah.
You're coming wanting to know why your fast isn't working. And I'm telling you. And it's, it all goes back, though, to what? Humble yourself with prayer and fasting. It's like it all goes back to humbling yourself. Humble yourself. And it all goes back to that.
Yeah.
And,
And is there anything, really, if you think about it, is there anything that we associate with humility? Is there anything that does that more than a lack of food? Because you think about starving children in Ethiopia. First thing we think is how lowly, how humble, how how degraded they are because they don't have food.
Yeah.
Being without food, bringing your body under subjection. I don't think anything does that quite like the absence of food. And maybe that's why it's,
I feel
maybe
like
that's why it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was you going to say something else?
I feel like we may get some pushback on this thing about fasting being food.
It's okay.
It is.
And I'm not discounting that you give up social media, because Lord knows
we need to give up social media.
Well, I see people walking around. They've got an IV in their arm almost from their phone. What did we ever do before Facebook and before TikTok and before all? Well, I'll tell you what we did. We succeeded. We had a lot better society. We could have a meal and talk to the family. It's been just devastating. I'm not discounting the fact that when you give up your favorite TV show for a week, or you give up pleasure,
but there's something about food.
There's something about food.
There's something. It was. They didn't give up their favorite horse for a week. They didn't give up their favorite whatever it was. They gave up food, and it's been the same. It's been that way. So it's always been that connection. And I didn't mean like in a way of maybe we shouldn't say that about food. I really feel like, though, that there will be a bristling, but I believe the bristling comes because the enemy knows it's truth.
Well, I don't want it to be a cop-out.
No, I believe the enemy knows it's truth. And I do. I believe that if you are feeling that bristling, really begin to think and say, okay, Lord, teach me.
Yeah.
Show me.
And don't let it be a cop-out.
And don't let it be a cop-out not to.
Don't allow the enemy to say to you, well, I know they're saying this, but, it's like, I know people that, they think because they had a single at Wendy's instead of a double, they're fasting.
Yeah.
Don't cop out. Like we talked about, I think in the last episode, if you don't eat breakfast every day, then all of a sudden you say, I'm fasting breakfast. It's a cop-out.
That's a cop-out.
You're not fasting.
We're not fasting. No.
Make sure it's a fast that matters.
Yeah.
And it's the key. It's the key to obtaining power to make the impossible possible.
Man.
And we so desperately need to learn the spiritual discipline of fasting. If you want more information about it, I'm not here to push book sales, but I did write a book about it, The Spiritual Discipline of Fasting. You can get this on Amazon, or you can write me and just say, hey, I want a copy of a book, and I'll send it to you, or I'll give you more information. I got to pay for those things, so you got to help me with it. But anyway, in our next session, I want us to go into the nuts and bolts of fasting. I want to discuss the physical and spiritual aspects. I want to talk about the different types of fasting, and I want to talk about what you can expect from your body when you fast.
Yes.
Because your body ain't gonna like it.
Not a bit.
That spoiled brat that's called your body is not gonna like it when you set out to fast. So you just need to go ahead and get used to that. Get ready for that. But I want to do that next time if that's okay.
That's good with me.
I'm glad you came back in here and did this again, and we'll do some more. I don't know how many. I mean, we may do more of these than we did on the marriage thing, but that's okay because this is one way I get to hang out with you during the day. Because sometime during the day we don't get to see each other, even though we
live in the same house.
Live in the same house, and my office is right next door to the house, but.
Sometimes you're here and I'm there, everywhere.
Yeah, we stay busy, but it's okay. That way we don't get bored. So anyway, but I appreciate you joining us so much for Outflow today. We are coming to you from the studios of River of Life Church in Valdez, North Carolina. If you are ever in the area, we would love for you to stop by, and we'd love to meet you. We have service every Sunday at 11 a.m. And then on Wednesday night, we have a tremendous time of Bible study beginning at 6:30. Yes. And we invite you to that as well. It's always good to meet new people. I'm Alan King. This is my wife, Regina, and we thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, share, get the word out. Help us. Please help us. We're trying to get the word out. And let everybody know about the podcast, and we'll thank you so much for that. If you have something you want to tell us, if you have a question, a comment, or anything like that, I almost forgot. Our email address is outflow@outflow.online. Again, that's outflow@outflow.online. So thank you again for joining us. In the meantime, until the next episode, get out there and be blessed. And while you're at it, be a blessing.